guys, it's Yorkie here with some RaceRoom Racing Experience, and we are racing the DTM 2014 cars around Hockenheim. We did some qualifying prior to this multiplayer race, and we're starting in 4th position. We're just waiting for the 5 lights to go out, which they do now, and launching off the line now, getting a very nice launch. 3rd position, didn't even move off the line, so immediately up into 3rd as we approach turn 1. It's got a lot of room behind us as we come into this first corner. Looks like P1 initially ran a little bit deep there and ran out wide. He's there on my left hand side. As you can see, I've got the inside now for turn 2. Will I make the move up the inside? Just coming into the braking zone, nailing the apex quite nicely, making that move stick. Get a little bit of oversteer there as we got pretty close to the new leader. However, we have managed to step ourselves up into P2, and we are now in the slipstream of 1st position as we come down this long back straight now, coming down towards the braking zone, moving the car over to the left hand side to open up this hairpin as much as possible onto the brakes. Now it looks like P3 is going to make a lunging move up the inside of me, and is going to manage to make that stick as well. So fantastic move by him. He actually managed to make the apex, and he held it tight on the exit there as well. I was going to go for the undercut as I saw it coming, but yeah, he basically covered that off and has got himself up into 2nd position with a very, very nice move. I was a little bit shy there of the apex on that left-hander, but yeah, I'm now down in P3. So it looks like 1st position got a little bit sideways there coming through that long right-hander. Can't really see where he was exactly as P2. Running a little bit of an awkward line there, run out a little bit too wide. I'm now on the outside of him as we come into the hairpin of the stadium section, squeezing me on the outside there. Had to get on the brakes to try and tuck down underneath him, but that didn't really work out, so I'm now going to have to settle in behind and follow him through this next complex of corners, and doing exactly that. As we start lap 2 now, the race is actually 20 minutes long, so however many laps we actually do in that race. It's also a mandatory pit stop as well, and as you can see in the top left, there's 20 drivers in this race at the moment. We're in 3rd position with 1st and 2nd just in front, and 4th is 2.3 seconds behind as we go and lose the rear end as we come through that right-hander there of turn 2. So it's going to cost me a number of positions to try and recover back onto the circuit now. And we're now losing more places. We're down into 9th position as we got fairly close there to the BMW. I wonder if he didn't quite see me rejoining the circuit. But yeah, just as I came onto the power, coming out the exit of turn 2, just lost the rear end and around I went. So that's going to cost me an awful lot of time. But this race does require you to make the pit stop, so we need to do that at some point. But hopefully I'll be able to catch back up to 1st, 2nd and 3rd. But they're quite a long way up the road really, as it looks like a couple of guys there have gone and lost the car and spun around. That's gone and gifted me P7. And I think basically what happened there was one guy just kind of lost it on the outside, and then one of them came through the corner with a little bit too much speed and basically just went into the side of him. They weren't directly related in terms of them making contact with each other initially, which caused the spin, if you get what I'm saying. It's just kind of more of a someone else got caught up in the aftermath of that, which is unfortunate. But yeah, now up into P7 and right on the tail of P6 as he goes and runs wide, coming through the 2nd to last corner. So that's now gifted me 6th position, but he's now coming back up my inside as we come down this start-finish straight now in towards turn 1. He's got the inside here, breaking down, and it looks like he's just about managing to hold on to P6, or shall I say recovered back into that position. Was able to make turn 1 and not take too much grab on the exit there, getting pretty close to him. Coming out on the exit of turn 2, being a little bit more cautious. Should be able to pick up the slipstream here, may potentially be able to make a move coming down towards the hairpin. I am running a completely default setup, by the way, so I haven't changed anything on that front. As we get very close to the limiter, running down onto the brakes there. He's moving over onto the right hand side just to squeeze me in towards the apex of the hairpin. And I had to basically sit on the brakes. The gap was too tight for me to safely make a move down the inside, so I had to back out of that one. Very aggressive defensive driving by the BMW in front as he goes and runs a little bit deep there. Coming into that corner, has gone and lost the car as well. Just about managed to see that come in and backed out of the throttle. Was able to dance around him to avoid making contact, so now back up into P6, which I held momentarily. It looks like P5 has gone and lost the car a little bit there, coming into the stadium section, ran out wide onto the grass. So that's going to cost him time. It's allowing me to close up a little bit closer towards the rear of him. As we come now through these last two corners onto the start-finish straight. We've got 15 minutes just under left of the session. I've now also got DRS as well, which I used there a little bit too late. So we come in towards the braking zone of turn 1. As he goes and runs out wide there on the exit of turn 1, which is allowing me to get up towards the inside of him. Coming down into the braking zone of turn 2, but he brakes a little bit too late there, runs a little bit deep. It's allowing me to slip up the inside of him. And I've also still got DRS, so I'm going to use that now down this back straight to extend the gap behind. Obviously you'll be able to pick up the slipstream, but the reduced drag that I'll have of the DRS system on that rear wing should negate any effect or an advantage that he'll be able to pick up. He's getting very, very close there down my inside as he comes into the hairpin, goes and cuts across the grass. Kind of slow on the accelerator coming out the exit there, so having to kind of take to the curb to go around the outside of him. Still got DRS, so I'm going to use that coming through here. I was just about able to use it and keep hold of the rear end coming through the very fast flat out right hander. So yeah, P5 now. It's been a pretty eventful race so far. We've got 13 minutes and about 40 odd seconds left of this race. And you can see that, oh dear, go lose the rear end of the car once again. That was completely my mistake. I actually dipped the wheels on the curb on the inside there, but fortunately P6 has got and had a moment somewhere along the line. Is a lot further back than he was after he came out the hairpin. So managed to hold on to P5, but I've lost an awful lot of ground to P4. And there you can see the delta times at the top of the screen to first and second positions he was battling with earlier on in this race, and basically on par with in terms of pace. There you can see the message saying that the pit window is now open for people to make their pit stops. So I'll probably be on, not this lap, but probably the next lap is when I'm thinking of making the pit stop, basically around the halfway mark. Coming down the back straight, getting fairly close to the limiter there. As we come into the hairpin, just taking it fairly smooth and steady. You can hear the exhausts popping on either side of the car from the side exhausts of these DTM cars, which are an awful lot of fun to drive. Got a lot of aerodynamic grip, and the mechanical grip is pretty good as well. So they've got a lot of turning power, they accelerate pretty quickly, they make quite a nice sound, and yeah, with all the various different aerodynamic parts, they actually look quite cool to look at as well. Very, very aggressive, but of course that affects their top speed straight line performance. And I mean, it's good, but it's not massive, if you get what I'm saying. It's more about their acceleration and cornering power, which makes these cars pretty unique. Let's go and run the curb there on the exit of turn 1. A little bit too much. I now got actually slipped up to third position. There's a couple of guys who are going to make their pit stops already. I believe the guy who is behind me right now was the Merc that I was battling with on the first lap, and was in first position before he made the stop. So he's now come up about 9/10 of a second behind me. There you can see getting up to about 157 miles per hour before breaking down to about 40 for the actual hairpin itself. Running curve a little bit there as I got on the power, which isn't good for the traction, as you saw. The car got a little bit skittish, but managed to hold on to that for the moment. Getting onto the brakes, just about making the apex. It looked like the guy in front of us had a little bit of trouble through that corner. Probably wasn't quite as smooth as he would have liked to have been. This is allowing me to close the gap up to him a little bit more. First position still 17 seconds up the road. The guy is still about 9/10 to a second behind me. So in a fairly good spot at the moment. I think this is a lap where I'm going to dive into the pits to make the tyre change. The guy in front of me is also pitting as well, so yeah, we'll follow him through. Make sure not to go too aggressive as we come in towards the pit speed limiter. Getting on that now. There you can see tyre choices, struggling to work out how to work the settings, but eventually figuring it out fairly quickly. Moving into the box as well. This is all automated by the AI, which is why you would have seen me go through the wall there into the first box. The guy who was just in front of me, 4th position, has now retained his position as well. Now we can come off the limiter and go. 5 seconds to the guy behind, so a little bit of breathing room there. The guy in front is pretty close, but we've got a brand new set of tyres on the car, so hopefully we can capitalise on the new grip that we'll have. See if we can continue to close the gap to the guy in front, get past him, and see what we can do about the guys in 3rd, potentially 2nd and 1st, but they seem quite a long way up the road at the moment, more than being 25 seconds. Who I believe was that Mercedes who did come out behind me, the kind of pink coloured Mercedes. So it looks like someone has locked up there going into that left-hander. There's a little bit of tyre smoke hanging around in the air, which the BMW in front and myself also passed through. You can see we're closing up onto the back of him relatively quickly as he goes a little bit wide there coming into the stadium section, which means he wouldn't have been as smooth or as hard on the throttle as he probably would have normally have been, which has allowed me to get right up underneath the rear wing onto the rear bumper of his BMW. Just going to have to follow him here through complex corners and then to the final 2 corners, taking a little bit too much off on the inside there. He's now all of a sudden gone very, very defensive and moved way over to the right hand side of the track to defend the inside of the first line. That's gone and compromised his braking. He's had to brake a fair amount earlier, but basically just drove clean around the outside of him and kind of chopped him there on the apex as well. Fortunately, there wasn't any contact. That was actually pretty dangerous for myself. We've got a spinner there off onto the right hand side of the road as well. It's gone and gifted me P3. So 2 positions in a couple of laps. And now back up into 3rd, which is pretty good, but as you can see from the delta times, guys in front are 20 odd seconds on the road. So I've got my work cut out for me. I've got just about, well, just over 7 minutes left remaining in the race. Once that timer gets to 0, basically that lap that the timer gets to 0 on will be the final lap of the race. A little bit of oversteer there as I initially got on the throttle. I had to give a quick flick of opposite lock. The pit window is now closed. To the stadium section. Taking all of this very nicely and smoothly. Basically just trying not to hustle the car too much and just running a little bit deep there. Got the wheels onto the gravel, which is going to push me out wide onto the runoff area on the exit there, which is fortunately tarmacked, but there's not a lot of grip out there. As you saw as I got onto the throttle, the rear end wanted to step out a little bit. And also if you take a look at the top there, as we run wide through turn 1, and then rather than bouncing back over the curb, basically just staying to the left of the curb and then rejoining once the curb actually finishes is a lot safer. And obviously less of a chance of actually unsettling the car. But yeah, if you take a look at the position board at the top there, I'm now in P2. Guy who was, I believe, in 1st, disconnected from the race. Don't know his reasons for leaving, but he did. So I'm now up into 1st position and, sorry, 2nd position, and 1st is 24 seconds up the road. Get a little bit of oversteer there as we come out through the exit of the hairpin, but managing to regain control of the car. It's definitely not what I would have wanted. It would have cost me a little bit more time. Losing a little bit more ground. 2P1. So that I just went quiet for a little bit, let you guys enjoy the sounds of the cars. I should say of the car. You can really hear the transmission model that this game has, which is probably one of the greatest sound aspects that this game has going for it. It's the oscillation of the transmission model, the way it fluctuates up and down as it goes over bumps, as you get on and off the throttle. It sounds so very realistic and awesome. It's just absolutely fantastic. So we're coming up onto the back of a lap driver here. Should hopefully get out of our way fairly soon. So closing up onto the back of him, which he does so there. He moves over to the right side of the track, a little bit too far over to the right and onto the grass. Just kind of unsettled his car, but gave me plenty of room to slip up the inside into the hairpin of the stadium section. And the guy in front has actually gone into the pits. He said just for fun. There is, yeah, second stop for fun. So he's diving into the pits, and this should basically bring him out pretty much right exactly with me. There he is there, coming out the pits now on my right hand side. So I do just about slip up in front of him as we come down into the braking zone of the second corner. However, he is now right behind me, and he does also have a brand new, very fresh set of tyres on his car as well. But this is going to make it very, very interesting for the final 2 to 3 minutes of this race. Now I've got someone right behind and I'm now in the lead, so now it's crunch time basically. A little bit of pressure being applied, and hopefully these next few laps be pretty interesting. So yeah, I've got to take it fairly nice and smooth. Obviously, where I'm in the lead, I'm going to have to go defensive in a number of places. Basically just got to make sure that I get my line right and get a nice smooth run for each corner, and then just keep a little bit of an eye on that rear view mirror, and if the guy behind does look like he's going to be able to get a run at some point, basically just plan a defensive move and see if I can hold on to it. So coming now through the last couple of corners, and unfortunately we're going to have 2 more laps as the clock won't run out before the end of this lap, which we are now on. The gap is currently 0.7 seconds, 0.6 seconds. Looked like he ran a little bit wide there on the exit, but it also looks like he's actually closing as we come up down towards this second corner into the braking zone now, missing the apex there on the inside, running a little bit deep in the exit there, so he's going to be fairly close coming onto this back straight as you look into the rear view mirror to see where he is exactly. This is a defensive maneuver that I've pulled off many a times back in F1 2012. That's hang to the left, force him to go right to the inside, and then you squeeze him all the way over to the right just before you get to the braking zone. Move over to the left and open the corner up for yourself. It's going to be tight for them, and you just pull a nice little switch back off maneuver exactly like that. It could have been a little bit cleaner if I've got the car slowed down a little bit more. Would have been a little bit tighter to the apex, but I'm now going to have to go defensive once again, coming in towards this left hand side as he goes to the right hand side, trying to make the manoeuvre around the outside. I'm going to have to give him room on the exit here, which I do see. I see him there popping up in the rearview mirror and in behind me. So far so good, managing to hold on to this first position with a good couple of defensive moves. We've now got 30 seconds. We're not going to finish, well, we're going to finish this lap before the end of those 30 seconds, which is now 20 odd seconds. So we're going to have to go for one more lap. I can't back out of the throttle now because the guy's too close. If I do that, he's just going to take the lead and going to go around. He's going to disappear off into the distance. I won't be able to fight it back. So essentially I've just got to keep pushing as we come over the line now with 6 seconds left of this race. So this will be the final lap. I'll try and push and see if we can hold on to this. Running a little bit wide there on the exit of turn 1. The gap at the moment is still just over half a second. Just come now into turn 2. Hooking up the apex a lot better this time, getting a much better exit as well. A bit further over to the right, should open up the left a little bit more. Coming now down this long back straight. He's going to be picking up the slipstream. He may also have DRS. You can see the delta there at the top is getting closer. You can also see him getting closer in the rear view mirror. I'm going to go a little bit defensive here, coming into the hairpin, making it tighter for myself, forcing him to go the long way round. I'm going to stay very slow on the exit there, make sure he doesn't get a switchback performed on me. However, he does still manage to get a better accelerating run coming out the exit of that corner. He's looking to the inside here in this king. This is where I want him to be. I want to hold on to the inside here, but he goes and switches to the other side as we come into the apex. He's got the inside, a tiny little bit of contact there between myself and him, but I'm also getting on the power a little bit earlier than he is. I'm on the outside here, coming into this long right-hander. Not going to be able to pull this off as I run a little bit wide, rejoining the track. The guy behind us is now joining to the battle and is going to have a look down the inside of P1 here, coming into the stadium section. There's contact between the two drivers, and he goes and spins off to the right-hand side, which leaves this black Audi in front of me. We're a little bit too far behind at the moment to really mount a challenge coming into the last couple of corners, but it looks like we've got a lap driver here who's had a moment somewhere along the line and is rejoining the circuit. The Audi in P1 almost making contact of this BMW and had to kind of dodge to avoid him, which has gone and pushed him out wide and has actually gifted me the first position. Just come now down towards the start-finish line. I'm just basically going to sit behind that BMW and not going to risk it, and I'm going to go and take my first online win in RaceRoom Racing Experience. And wow, what a race that was. Absolutely fantastic racing and very, very intense there at the end. Some really, really tough battles, and yeah, really, really enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching that one as well. If you did, please give the video a rating. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them down below, and of course I hope that you guys subscribe to the channel for more content in the future. But yeah, thanks very much for watching this video, guys. Hopefully I shall see you soon. Take care.